The Democratic Party called for President Biden to withdraw from the presidential race after his debate with former President Trump raised concerns about his intellectual ability. On July 21st, Biden dropped out of the race and Vice President Harris announced her candidacy. She received the Democratic Party's nomination without participation in a primary. Trump was again selected as the Republican nominee for the 2024 race, despite being on trial in multiple states for a variety of charges, including the federal indictment of the 2020 election. Polls leading up to the election show candidates neck and neck, and campaigning is focused in the 7 swing states: Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. The edit interviewed 6 Augustana students to understand how they view the future of politics and democracy in the United States.
I feel like this election is kind of the choice between the lesser of two evils.
I know Donald Trump is very focused on the economy. That's probably his big ticket, and immigration. And I would say Kamala is very focused on reproductive rights.
Say Kamala wins, that will be our first female president, obviously very historic. If Trump wins, it's kind of his last hurrah in politics.
I think at the end of the day, this is an election that we're passionate about because we have the chance to do something about it.
What I want to remember about this election is the overwhelming sense of hope that I felt when President Biden announced that he would be not seeking re-election.
Don't really want to remember this election. I hope it just kind of happens and I get to forget about it.
I think I want to remember how polarized our nation has been, because I feel like currently we're so polarized and I don't really see any sort of way to bring the country back together.
I think this is kind of the new face of politics now. I'm not happy about it. I think it's demeaning to American democracy, and I think it has a lot of negative effects on how we treat each other, as fellow Americans, as neighbors.
Well, I think the polarization is very surface level. I think we just have very different ideas on policy.
I think it's very real. You can't really have a conversation with someone that has a different opinion from you. It's almost like a debate. It's not just a conversation. And
We are beginning to lose a united sense of democracy, and that the definition that voters are starting to go by is very individualized and unique to every person. And so I think it's hard for us to all find common ground if we don't even know where to start.
Everyone is talking about the economy, reproductive rights, climate change, immigration, and just overall crime rates.
We talk about abortion rights, immigration rights, and then the genocide happening in Palestine.
In the position I'm in right now, as a college student in my demographics in the area that I live in, it sounds silly to say, but I don't really have a lot at stake, but I know there are people who do.
For me personally, I think the biggest issue of my day, of my week, of my month, of my life is that my reproductive freedoms are being questioned and that my bodily autonomy as a woman is being challenged.
I'm actually a transracial adoptee, meaning that my parents are white, so I'm one of the only Black people in my family, which is a very unique experience because this election will directly impact me as a Black woman.
my family, majority of them are immigrants. Not all of them are U.S. citizens yet. A lot of them are permanent residents. So under Trump, it was hard for some of my family members to renew their green cards.
Inflation is high, cost of living is high. It's come to the point where it makes more sense for people our age, in my age group, to rent rather than buy a home. And I see a problem with that because we're supposed to be going for this American dream, but at the same time, people can't really afford that.
I think when we look back in 4 years at who wins this election, we're going to be looking back from 2 very different Americas, depending.
I'm really worried the direction we're going down is one of silence. But at the end of the day, I'm encouraged by the people here at Augustana, the conversations they're willing to have. It feels good to me to see that.
On November 5th, 2024, Trump was elected President of the United States. On the night of the election, all 7 swing states showed a close race, with Trump consistently in the lead. A race that many thought would be close and controversial turned into anything but. Trump won the popular vote by 3.72 million and the Electoral College by 86 votes.